Hi everybody, it's Mr. Katz. Welcome back to Soundtrap Lesson 5. And we're going to need, of course, headphones, your computer, and a mouse. This one is collaboration as well as the virtual instruments that you may have been exploring already. So, of course, open up Soundtrap, log in, and find the project you've been working on. That means that you're going to click Studio, and next to the song that you've been working on, the name of the song. And this is something, the first thing I'd like to point out is that when you're actually in the Soundtrap profile page and you're looking at your projects, look for the plus sign, okay? That is going to give you the option to share and invite. And let me just quickly open that up if I can, and I'll show you in a minute. Okay. There's also a collaboration button over here on the regular screen that you use while you're in a song. Okay. So again, there's the plus button, and that's how you invite people to work on your project. Now, some of you might have already explored this, and others may have not noticed. And so I understand this might be review for some of you. You also may have been confused about what you see there, but now they've changed it so it's less confusing, and it's pretty clear that you need to actually type somebody's name in here, which is not clear before. But this allows you to work on the song with your friends. Let's see if this loaded yet. Okay. And I'm going to scan down to my song or two. Let's see. It's going to take a second to load here. So yeah, you could type in any of the friends that you have done Soundtrap with if you're in third or fourth grade. If your friends are not on Soundtrap, then you wouldn't be able to collaborate with them. But if they can join this class over the summertime, then of course they can join for free if they are in our school district, Verde School District. Did it load yet? No. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm gonna have to come back to this in a second. Oh. All right. So those are invites actually at the top of my page that I had to scroll through. And you saw that I have to accept it if somebody invites me. So just know that if you invite your friends and you find them on Soundtrap when you search, then they have to accept it before you are going to collaborate on a song. Right here, the plus button allows you to invite somebody to your song, and then it looks a little different here. This is the way it used to look when you were in your song, and so you need to search here. Ignore the fact that there are going to be people in here, and you're trying to search through those. It's better to just type it in as I instructed you and search. So it looks like they are showing another way when you do it from the profile page. And then see if I can. Okay. And then last but not least, they used to have it right here. Yep, there it is again. So if you click the triple dots that are on the side of each song, giving you an extra menu, you can click invite, and it gives you the same invitation page. All right. So, hopefully, you understand what inviting is, working on a song with somebody else. It could be their song originally and you're working on it with them. It could be your song and you're sharing it with them. Be aware that they can make changes if you're inviting them to um, collaborate on a song. So, not unlike Google Docs or something like that, where you can set it so they can't change it. As far as I know, when you invite somebody else to your song, you're inviting them to be a collaborator, which means somebody that can add to your song or take things out of your song so they can change it. All right. And right there, as I'm showing you in the song that you're working on, if you invite somebody and they've accepted, it will show up right here in the collaborators tab just underneath the loops tab. Um, and then, yeah, that's, oh, yes. So once they have collaborated with you, and they're listed up here, then you're going to have that chat box at the bottom of this screen, and indicated there right above me in the presentation. Okay, there's the collaborator search names, and you may get this update or pop-up window after you've accepted an invitation, because I just saw this the other day. I wanted you guys to be aware of a cool feature where you would find out if your friend was making changes to the project. So then you know when they've done work. They're not going to see it. Also, unlike Google Docs or something like that, this what's called real time. This is not saved in real time on the other end. On your end, if you're working, sometimes it'll automatically save, but you're not going to see anybody else's changes until they hit that purple button. They have to do a full save of all their work, and you would also need to log out of the song or close it and then open it up again. But this gives you an opportunity to get notifications if you want that. Okay, some great tips from Soundtrap directly, and I thought that I would share them with you. Collaborate and be positive with anything that you share in that chat feature down here when you have a collaborator. Um, Give each other credit. You can tell them, "Oh, I like what you did with that," and be friendly, because you're going to want people to keep working on it. We don't want to have any disagreements, or I've had students get upset when things are changed, and that's why I'm telling you up front, if you want to collaborate with a friend, that you're going to have to accept their changes to your song, because it's a shared project now. They can't hear your changes, as I said, until you click save. So if you want to make sure that they can see and hear what you did, click save and close the song to be sure. And then there is a collaboration video put out by Soundtrap that I linked to right there in the presentation. And so you can click on that when you open up this presentation. For lesson 5, and then always be kind and respectful of each other's ideas so you can keep the creative juices flowing. All right, so let's dig into virtual instruments. This is also something that students often find on their own. So you may have accidentally clicked or on purpose clicked beat maker, play the synth, or add a track here, and it's also over here. So if I'm going to start with that Pattern Beatmaker because it is the most popular out of all the virtual instruments that I see students opening up. They get very excited about it, and we'll get to the other ones as well. So you do it by clicking on this center button that is kind of hard to see because you can tell the writing just kind of blurs into the background. But if you float your cursor over these, you'll start seeing the titles, and Patterns Beatmaker is there. Okay, so I can change the drums. Oh, it says start creating your beat by adding a note. So it's telling you to start down here. I'm going to click over because this is the first one that it gives you. I can change it here, and let's see what that one sounds like. You know how I can see what it sounds like? There's a little button over here to hear all the different sounds in there, and it will make a beat for you by clicking generate. So it takes a little while because it's obviously loading up a beat here, and it's calling it an AI generator. But it's kind of like what we did with the demo song. I always encourage students to look at a finished product or a finished beat here. Okay, so some of the drums you're hearing there are already in the song. I'm glad that mistake happened because now I can tell you gotta mute your drums. So I'm going to click right here next to the headphones on my drums and go back to this beat. I'm also going to move the cycle so I'm just listening to a small part of the song where the beat pattern is. So I don't like that one. But it gives you a sense of how to use the generate button. And, hey, I didn't make the beat, so it's okay if I didn't like it, kind of like the loops. But now you can change those. And I'm going to flip back to this, and let's do you see how I can just easily unclick all the boxes, and I'm actually just going to hold my mouse down and it unclicks boxes. All right, so I'm going to show you how to kind of make a simple beat, and usually you wouldn't want a lot of this drum because the kick drum, see if I can, I guess it won't play it for us until we actually press play. Here we go. Okay, so we got some buttons there that are still clicked. All right, so this is supposed to be simple, but what you saw was the beat generator can make it a little bit more challenging if you're trying to change it. Cycle, follow beat. I think I'm just going to kill this whole track, meaning delete it. So I'm going to go back, delete this track, and let's go back into a pattern beat maker that we can start fresh with. Okay, so here, my one is a little bit over. That's where we start. Let's see here. See what that sounds like. Go back to the beginning. So now you can hear that that's a very electronic sound versus hopefully totally different electronic sound. I like it a little bit better. So I'll try this kit, and then Less is best with these. You can see I just kind of put the kick drum on the first part of each group of 4. That's usually a good way to go. And then I'm going to also do kind of sparingly snare. And we're going to listen to that now. Okay, so you get a basic beat there, and I'm just going to go with this kind of pattern for hi-hats, which is every other one. Let's see how that sounds. Now, I didn't memorize or make up this pattern beforehand. This is based on my music knowledge and some basics of music that we don't have time to get into, but I like to talk about the visual aspects of Soundtrap that you can see. There's a group of 4 here. That's why the kick drum goes at the beginning of each group of 4. It is one of the most important things in your entire song, to make the groove feel good, to make the rhythm feel good. And then the snare kind of does opposite of not opposite, but you can see it's lining up with the kick drum, but it's alternating is what I meant, every other one. So let's hear that. Okay, so I got the beginnings of a pretty good basic beat in Pattern Beat Maker, and I can tell it to go over and over and over again by clicking cycle, or I can loop it out with this with the loop function, and now it'll go through the whole song. Unclick this cycle. Did I mute the wrong thing? I muted the bass. I want to mute the drums. Okay. All right. Actually fits really well with my bass line. So I hope everybody has bass and drums in their song, and this can help you get there. So we talked about letting it make a beat for you using the generator button, and how to use those buttons, the squares that you can click and unclick, and always do less is best on this. You can follow my lead of using the snare every other one and the kick drum on the beginning of each 4, but also experiment, because you can always oh, it looks different now. So I'm glad this happened, because I can show you that the reason why it looks different is because it's the instrument tab is selected, and you can play things from this drum set called XX. If you are using this, you can play them one by one, and those letters correspond with your typing keyboard. But you can experiment, as I say, maybe adding a little variation here, and it'll change it. Yeah, I like that one already. So now that I have that, I'm going to move on to a different kind of virtual instrument, the one that is often shown with a piano keyboard. So let's add a melody using this. You can click add a track right here or over here. And here I have piano, guitar, all these different virtual instruments that I can play with my typing keyboard or the on-screen piano keyboard. I'm going to click piano, and I already know that I'm interested in this one sound. The sounds can be changed on this virtual instrument the same way as the patterns beat maker. And I'm going to go over to what's called the Rhodes. Back to the beginning. and I can use, if you have a touch screen, your fingers on this keyboard. So one really important thing that you have to know about your virtual instruments that use this kind of on-screen keyboard is that you need to press record before anything is added to your song. That means that what I just played is not in my song. And so I'm going to practice what I want to play along with it like I did just now. Find notes that work. Now there's a reason why I knew this one would work. It has a big B and a little b because my bass line is in the same key, big B and little b. So I'm going to now add this in, and okay, so we are going to add something from this Rhodes piano sound, but the only way we can do that is to click the record button first. You'll also notice that this is an important music term for technology, that the little red box with a R in it indicates that that track is record enabled, and record enabled is something that you would see in other kinds of music software like this one. Okay, I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to click record, and then it will allow me to actually save what I'm playing. Okay. Did it save it? Yes, it did. And I can see that because there's little white dots inside of the bar there. So I'm going to show you another way, because maybe there's some notes that you played in there that you didn't like. So you can switch from the Instruments tab to the Piano Roll tab, and let's listen to this part. So I hung a little bit too long on this note, and I can shorten that. Let's see if it works. I need to zoom in a little bit, so I'm going to use my zoom in here. There we go. Made it about the same size as the other ones. I also can copy and paste. So I'm going to copy, paste. It ended up way over here, but I want all these notes in here. And so I'm going to add that one in too. So I hit all the notes in between these two. Let's see how this sounds. Okay. Let's see if I can, there you go. I can always move the locator line up here or down here. So you can spend time working on stuff in the piano roll by changing the length, and I think this will help too. Moving it a little bit closer. Okay, and I want that to be a little bit longer. I think I'm going to move this over. Move that over. Let's see what happens here. Better. And I'm going to take this one out just by clicking it and delete on my regular typing keyboard. Okay, let's hear that. That's what I wanted. All right, so that is one way to do one virtual instrument, and many of the instruments are done this way. If I click that, it opens another menu of the different virtual instruments that I can use. So they're all here, as well as when you first open and add a track. Yeah, you can spend many hours digging through all those virtual instruments and have fun with it. As you saw, my keyboard on that one has letters on it, and I can use my typing keyboard. For instance, this letter G over here, all I do is press the G letter on my typing keyboard to play that. You can also use your touchscreen if you have that. And we covered the record button, as it says there in the kind of bottom left near where you go back. Okay, so make sure your song has beats and drums, of course, and you'll see that on the side here where the names of the tracks are. What I played might be called a melody because da, 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 da. You can kind of sing or hum along with it. We're not trying to be the best singers in the world right now, so if you're shy about that, hopefully you're working on this by yourself anyway. But if you can kind of hum it in your head, remember it with your musical memory, then the last thing, if it's one note at a time and you can remember it easily, then it's probably a melody. And I think virtual instruments is the way to go for making a melody, especially an original one that'll sound good with your song. So just try out those notes first before you hit record. And if you did record something that you want to change, you can see using the piano roll is one way to do it. I'll show you one last time how to do that. So you can click on any of these instruments actually, piano roll, and then change any of the little boxes in there. Listen to it, watch the line go by, and find what you want to change, and then go back to it. And there it is. If it's easy to hum, it's probably a melody. Space in our song is really good, so let's make some more space in this song. I actually like this beat, but I am going to use it later in the song. I decided I want to move it to let's say the 8th measure. We'll have to see if that sounds good. But I had another great beat here, and I would like to use that. So I'm going to have this line up with where that beat stops. It's muted right now, so I'm going to unmute it, and I'm going to loop out the bass line to go longer. I'm also going to move my melody over to where this beat starts. So now I have some space here, and up here. Let's listen to it. Bass comes in first. Live drum set here. So this is going to play for a little while. And this would be a great spot to add another virtual instrument, like a guitar maybe. Here the beat changes. that's the middle of the song, and I want to bring back this beat at the end of the song. So I'm going to right click, copy, and paste. Yes, it worked. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring this back. And why don't I just loop this one out too? And I like that bass line so much, I want it to be the consistent thing throughout the entire song. So here's my middle, here's my end, and here's my beginning. That's the simplest way to make a beginning and end, is to have things that happen at the beginning and drop out or stop come back. And there it is, a different screenshot of what maybe a beginning, middle, and end would look like in your song. And you can have more than 3 parts to your song, but this is just a starting point to do what we call song form. And often songs will have 3 or more parts to them. Um, Last but not least, make sure and click the purple save button. It will say it's saving. Then your collaborators will see your changes if they reload or open after you click that save button. And I want to share with you our school district summer creativity challenge. Once you feel like you have a finished product or a completed song, enter your song into the summer creativity challenge. And I'm sorry, I may have said our school district. It's actually a Soundtrap special competition. So go ahead and click the link right here in the presentation where it says Summer Creativity Challenge. And you could also probably search Soundtrap Creativity Challenge. All right, great job. You've learned about virtual instruments and collaboration with your friends. So keep enjoying this, putting in the work on your song or multiple songs outside of these lessons. And I will see you for the next lesson. I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It shouldn't say virtual instruments. So you'll see at the beginning of lesson 6 what that is all about. So until then, keep having fun with Soundtrap, and I'll see you next time. Bye.